I would start fretting around
Mm-hmm.
2:15, 2:30, and I would be in this utter state of anxiety. And they wouldn't bother to tell you either that you had to stay.
Yeah.
It was just sort of assumed that you would. And Model had a children of her own, and she wanted to be home, and
Yeah.
I understood that.
Yeah.
I couldn't afford to let her go. So yes, I actually quit 2 jobs over it. And that was also a lesson in life about, if you don't like what's happening to you, if something is being done to you and it is not tolerable, you only have 2 choices. Well, you have 3. One is to say, I'll accept the abuse and I'll stay, or I'll try and organize my life differently, or I'm not going to tolerate this situation and I'm going to create another one for myself.
Love that.
At some point, that will come up because people are ready to victimize you anytime.
Mm.
How you respond to it is up to you, and your first response may be one of being extremely upset, but at the point you decide to stay and tolerate it, you have now entered into a different
Yeah.
conversation,
And complaining
and
goes
that
out the
person
window.
knows it. That's right.
Yeah. The other thing too is, and I make this joke, working parenting, working motherhood especially, society wants us to like parent like we don't have jobs, right? And our
That's
jobs want
right.
us to work like we don't have children. And
Yes.
so you really have to like be your own advocate and make choices to ensure
Right.
that, because you're the only one that can set that standard. Like, I am going to be a working mother, and this is what
Right.
I'm bringing to the table, and this is what I'm not willing to accept, and this is what I'm willing to accept. And forget what society thinks or forget what your job thinks. You just parent the way you know how to.
It is, I think it is the most difficult job, other than staying home.
Yeah.
And I've often said the real heroes of this world are the mothers
Oh,
that stay
bless
home with their
them,
children,
bless
because
them.
I honestly don't think that I would have been a good mother. And I was fortunate that I had such a nice person that was so very good to my children. They loved her. In fact, on a Sunday night, they would say, is Maudel coming tomorrow? And I'd say, yes, she is. But in the meantime, your mother is here. So pick up your stuff and put it away, because she spoiled them
Oh, that
horribly,
literally happened to
horribly.
us this morning. Bella was getting ready for school. She was fussing. She doesn't want to wear a sweater. And I came to kind of help the conversation because her nanny just really spoils her. And she goes, Mama, don't you have to go exercise? It's like, and
Oh, they
then she
know.
tells my husband, Papa, I think you have to go to the office now because, like, please get out of the way so I can be
Right.
parented in the spoiled manner that I'm used to being parented during the week. So please
Exactly.
exit. You know?
As my grandfather would say, they know which side their bread is buttered.
Absolutely.
That's what my grandfather would say.
Absolutely.
And yes, my children were very spoiled. In fact, she stayed with us for 12
Oh,
years.
wow.
And at that point, I said, Model, I love you dearly, but I said, hello, Rex, the dog's here.
Oh, hi,
I
Rex.
said, I love you dearly, but you have to go. I said, because my children have got to learn to pick their clothes up off the floor before they go to college.
Mm.
So Model eventually, actually, her daughter was having babies, and she was very happy to transition to take care of
Her own
her
kid.
own
Yeah.
daughter. And so that's actually what happened. But I couldn't have done it without her. She really was so very important to us, not only as a nanny, but as a grandmother.
Yeah.
Almost, she was probably 10, 15 years older than I, but she seemed older. And she was so good to my kids. And the fact that we didn't have any grandparents,
Mm.
Model was it for
Yeah.
us.
I
She
mean,
was
the
she
same
was
case with us with our
amazing.
nanny. My parents are not, close by. My in-laws are in Europe. She's all the family that we have here,
Right.
and we make sure that she feels that she's 100% part of our family, because having a
Absolutely.
husband who can have to travel at the drop of a hat and having my job, she really is our glue and she really keeps us in line. and also provide structure for Bella because she kind
Right.
of, the predictability of my job and her dad's job is so uneven, but her nanny's schedule is pretty consistent, right? So she comes and
Right.
gets her ready.
Yes.
And I feel like that's super important. And, people ask me, oh, you still pay the nanny and your kid goes to school? I'm like, yeah,
Mhm.
because she is
Yeah.
very much a part of our parenting journey. And we're
I did
so
that
grateful
too.
to afford that because I know that's not the experience for many moms. And, I
Right.
feel like we also forego a lot of luxury so we can keep having a nanny, but
Right. It
it's
was
definitely a luxury that is so worth it for us.
it gives I think it also, as you said, children, what children want is they want to know that they're loved unconditionally, and they also need the security of knowing that the people in their lives, where they are and when they're going to see them. And I could always rely on the fact that I knew Model was going to be there for me. I tried to arrange my schedule so that I was home in the afternoons, and I told my jobs that I would come in anytime as early as they wanted me, and if I needed to stay late, I could arrange that, but that I needed to have that information in order to make those arrangements for myself at home. That I was not prepared to just stay indefinitely without having a conversation with my children about today I won't be able to be home because I have to work, and sometimes we can't always have what we
Yeah.
want, but this is how it has to work for me today, and I just wanted to let you know that's the situation, and I tried never to be guilty about that, so that I wasn't completely inflexible, but I did ask that I have that information in advance so I could work it out.
Love it.
So I don't think that's much to ask.
I'm Shira Bergbauer, and you're listening to an excerpt from the Stethoscopes to Swaddles podcast. You can listen to the whole episode wherever you get your podcasts, and look out for new episodes out every Monday. You're doing a great job, Mama. I'll see you next week. Bye now.